Greetings friends, Dragon here once again. If it's your first time finding the channel, as I always say, do please consider clicking that red button. Okay, getting into my October Blu-ray pickups and a few other bits and pieces that have arrived so far. Not a huge amount of new releases, so there's a bunch of kind of second-hand shop, CEX finds, eBay finds, that sort of thing. So without further ado, first one was a very special treat from my good friend and neighbour. Left for me when I was away last week for a couple of days doing some work. I left him behind cat sitting, and when I got back he'd slipped this onto my shelf. Very sneaky but very generous. It's a pretty cool Bruce Lee book from the 1970s. Bruce Lee, My Martial Arts Training Guide, Jeet Kune Do. And mostly really is just predominantly a photo book, but very cool. I'd say from 1974, not one that I'd seen before, but some behind the scenes shots from Enter the Dragon, kind of wee history of Kung Fu. Lots of kind of behind the scenes shots of Bruce Lee, and then interspersed with lots and lots of black and white stills from the movies, but really pretty cool. There was a bunch of these books that kind of came out just after Bruce Lee's passing in the early 1970s, but this is one of the better ones that I'd seen. It kind of puts together quite a few shots that I'd never seen before. Very unexpected. Don't know idea where my friend found it, but it's very cool. Never seen this one on eBay. Pictures of his graveside, behind the scenes shots of him training and out with his dog. Very, very cool. Great that they include a picture of him doing a somersault. That was actually Yuen Wah who did the somersault in Enter the Dragon. Yuen Wah, pretty much anytime you ever saw Bruce Lee somersault, it was Yuen Wah. And then ranking systems, various quotes from Bruce at the end. Pretty cool. Awesome. So yeah, that was our first one. Second up was a random second-hand store find, and this is actually going to be a birthday present from my dad. This is the full Shogun TV series starring Shishio Mifune, based on James Clavell's novel. But a really quite nice set. It's not a series that I've seen for a while, but it was one that I remember seeing when I was pretty young, when it aired on British TV. You kind of get a big fold-out digi. I think this was like £2 for the whole series, which is a bit of a bargain. Not too sure if this has been released on Blu-ray yet. And then we get a little book breakdown of all of the kind of behind the scenes of the show. Pretty great. It's a fairly uncompromising series from what I remember, in terms of they don't really bother translating a lot of the Japanese. It is kind of dual language, and you basically just have to kind of follow the central character, really. So as he starts to understand Japanese, you start to understand a little bit more Japanese by extension, because you're kind of hearing repetition of the words. But pretty cool. It's a nice set. So yeah, he should be pretty happy with that for his birthday. Then a couple of random pickups that I'd had to buy a bundle of stuff to get one thing. They were very cheap. This one was £3.50, and the first one out of the box is the one that I was actually after. I'd been looking for a copy of Danny the Dog, aka Unleashed, the Jet Li film that was shot and set in Glasgow. I knew there was this nice digibook available of it. I prefer the name Danny the Dog to Unleashed, and I think this was the Hong Kong Blu-ray of it. So it's English language as well as kind of Cantonese and a Mandarin dub of it, and quite a lot of extra features. Phenomenal soundtrack by Massive Attack with the RZA. And yeah, just really cool. There's not any other Jet Li movies that were set in Glasgow. A lot of the Glasgow accents are pretty questionable, but it's quite a nice little digi. So that was the main one I was after. And so for my £3.50, I also got what looks to be a Hong Kong release of Musa the Warrior. Pretty cool. Weird kind of folding out card case for it. Not seen for a little while. Region 1 version of Takeshi Miike's 13 Assassins, which is a great movie. I already have that on Blu-ray. Enter the Dragon, which I have multiple different releases of. That's the very old double-sided, God, do you remember those? Double-sided DVD. So that one I suspect to be going back to a charity shop. The Hong Kong release of Zatoichi, some like nice cards on it. Again, I've already got a different version of that, but it's nice to kind of have another one of those. That one I'll probably hang on to. And then the Hong Kong version of Infernal Affairs, with one of those weird cases that I haven't seen for a while. Starring Tony Leung and Andy Lau. Pretty incredible movie. Again, one that I already have. I think I've got the old Tartan DVD release of that one. But it was a nice little bundle for the one movie that I was actually after. A pretty good find. And sticking with the same theme, this is another bundle. I think it's about £5 for these. Really, again, bought for one disc out of the bunch. So the one that I was actually after was this, Ichi. The sort of loose adaptation of Zatoichi, but with a female blind swordsman at its, or swordswoman at its core. One that I've heard Flip with Taku talking about an awful lot, and I was keen to track down. It was getting really expensive, so I was seeing kind of lots of versions of it kicking around for like £20–25. So when this one came up as part of a bundle, I thought, just get it that way. I'm also quite intrigued to see Blood the Last Vampire again. I remember that pretty fondly. It's a live action adaptation of the manga and anime. And then also got Bluray of Ip Man and Jet Li's The Warlords, which I've never seen. So yeah, a pretty nice little kind of a bundle of 4. Then next up we have a new arrival. This was a new release just out yesterday from Arrow. This is the Yokai Monsters Box Set. So again, another Takashi Miike movie in there. He did the Great Yokai War. I've seen the old movies, I've never seen the Takashi Miike movie. Quite a nice box set, not as nice as the Daimajin box that they put out a couple of months ago, but made by the same people. But very, very cool. Great fun movies. I'll do a proper unboxing of this because I think that one's one that's worth exploring in depth. So I'll do a proper unboxing and reviews of the movies for anybody interested in that. Next up we have... There's a lot of steelbooks in this bunch. I didn't intend it to be that way, but it's just the way that's shaken out. This is one that I've been looking for ages. This is from World of Books, who are another company that use zero packaging at all. So pure luck that's arrived in good nick. These ones are getting quite hard to track down. This is the very first Rurouni Kenshin live action. Sort of nice silver steel of that. Pretty cool. Which is the last one that I needed of the 3 now discontinued steelbooks. Now that Netflix have picked up the rights to these, they're getting really hard to track down. This kind of weirdly sort of reflective cover on it, but very nice. So yeah, that is one. I already have 2 and 3. I suspect I'll probably do a video focused in on all these, but this is not the last Rurouni Kenshin thing that we have, so we'll jump onto that one next, because this arrived from Amazon Japan. And this is the 4th movie in the franchise. This is the box set for Rurouni Kenshin, the final. This is the DVD version, because I realised that the box set size for both the Blu-ray and the DVD set were exactly the same, and the extra features were largely the same. The only difference is that the Blu-ray set has a Blu-ray disc, but there's no English subs on these at all. So, given that my Japanese is limited, once you get the slip off, there's no real way of identifying which one is a DVD, which one's a Blu-ray box. Thought I'd save myself a few quid and get the DVD set a bit cheaper. So it's still got quite a few extra features on it, which will all be in Japanese. But the movie franchise has kind of gone on to become really one of my favourite series of films. Again, I will do a proper breakdown of this box. Okay, maybe do a best of, or a compilation of all the Rurouni films on Blu-ray/DVD at some stage. The beginning gets released in November. And while we're on the subject of steelbooks, let's jump into this one. This is a second-hand find, I think through CEX. And this was the 4K, even though I don't have a 4K player. But this is Blade Runner 2049 and the artwork that I most preferred. So I kind of looked like this steelbook more than some of the other ones. I'm not too sure what I'll do with the 4K and the 3D disc. They might well get sold on to eBay, but I'm just going to keep the steelbook. I actually rewatched this again not that long ago and enjoyed it much, much more the second time around than I did the first time. First time I was a bit nonplussed by it, but I think maybe I had too high expectations based on the first one. I'll get that sticker off in time. Then Another Steelbook, this one from Amazon, a brand new one. This is Tenet, again another 4K that I won't be able to access, but another one that I'm getting mostly for the cover art. This is the Steelbook with the cover that I enjoyed the most. And again, Tenet I rewatched pretty recently. Another one, I think this is one of the only films that we saw at the cinema last year, when the cinemas reopened in the middle of our many lockdowns that we had. But a really nice deal, and again, if anyone wants to see a proper unboxing of this, I will certainly do one. Yep, sticking with Chris Nolan, and sticking with Steelbooks. This is just filling out the gaps in my Chris Nolan collection, and this is a second-hand find of Interstellar. It's pretty cheap, and one that I need to revisit. Pretty big fan of Chris Nolan. Don't normally buy that many Western movies, really, but there had been quite a quiet month for new releases, so I'm kind of filling some holes through some of the missing bits and pieces in my collection. A couple more Steelbooks, this time from CEX. And we have, sticking with Matthew McConaughey, the True Detective Season 1, which I thought was the best season of it. I think this is a Mondo Art Steelbook cover. Very, very cool. This is replacing my old digipack of the DVD release. Sorry, my old just card sleeve of the DVD release. I kind of much preferred the cover on this one. It's one of my favourite series of the last couple of years. Pretty happy to track that one down quite reasonably. And then we have a Steelbook for Baby Driver. So this is kind of filling out my Edgar Wright collection. A film that I really enjoy the editing. And this sort of supporting cast, probably more than the main cast, but really, really good fun. And again, was very, very cheap. Otherwise, I wouldn't have picked that one up. So we're getting back into what we're more about here, which is East Asian releases. And our last Steelbook pickup. This was another second-hand find. This is the French Steelbook of Snowpiercer by Bong Joon-ho. Film in English, but a Korean director starring Captain America himself, Chris Evans. And again, a very cheap pickup, but filling the gaps in my Bong Joon-ho collection. Random, very old piece of Arrow's history. This is an old Arrow DVD release, I think from probably about 10 years ago. And this was the Zatoichi film that is not in the Criterion box set. It's the one that he made after a break. It's just called Zatoichi the Blind Swordsman. Made in the 80s. But still starring Shintaro Katsu. A nice little kind of booklet by Tom Mez. And again, a very cheap pickup. This, to my knowledge, isn't available on Blu-ray anywhere. That's kind of why I took the chance. We had to swap this out into a new box. Box a little bit cracked, but that's okay. Got a reversible cover on it. Got the original poster on that side. This is very early on in Arrow's release catalogue, but pretty damn cool. Nice find, and again very cheap. That was an eBay find. Sticking with eBay finds and sticking with Arrow, and sticking with Tom Mez actually. This I've been looking for a while. This is the Unchained Melody, the Films of Miko Kaji book by Tom Mez. Pretty cool mixture of kind of photos and a summary of all Miko Kaji's movies. Kind of takes you through her history, through Blind Woman's Curse, through the Stray Cat movies, through Lady Snowblood, through the Female Prisoner Scorpion movies. Pretty cool. Kind of rounding out with her full filmography, her discography, because she recorded an awful lot of music. And then a nice summary of all of her films that are available on Blu-ray and DVD, though including stuff that's not on Arrow, which I thought was a pretty classy move. So they mentioned the Criterion Collection releases, the Snaps releases. Yeah, nice. It's a book that's getting quite hard to track down, so I was pretty stoked to find it without it costing the earth. It is Arrow book number 001. Don't know if that's going to focus on that. Awesome. So this was A Touch of Zen by King Hu. And I've been looking for the Criterion version for a little while. This is out on Eureka in the UK, but I much prefer the cover art on the Criterion releases. Slightly different extras. Very cool. There's also Dragon Inn, which I'll have to try and track down as well. Very similar presentation, so it'd be nice to kind of have the matched pair. But pretty cool. First of two Criterion pickups. The other one is the craziest deal I think I've ever had on a Criterion release, and this I first spotted on Graham over at Man v Films channel, he kind of raised my attention to the fact that somebody was selling The Irishman for $5.98, including delivery in the UK on Blu-ray. We all kind of assumed in the comment section over on his page that this was just going to be sounded too good to be true. It was probably going to arrive as recordable Blu-rays or something in a photocopied case. That was not to be true. It turned up as the full digipack. So for £5.98, a little bit of a crease down the spine, but amazing. It wasn't on my radar to track down. Still not a movie that I've seen, but for £5.98 you cannot grumble. Whether I'll keep it or whether I'll knock it on back onto my eBay page, I'm not too sure. I might well hang on to it really, but very nice presentation. It's always nice having another Criterion Digi. And next up we have a box from the good folks at Nova Media. This one I've waited for a while. Shipping out of Korea has been a little bit slower than normal. This one I've actually not got into yet, so we'll open this together. Not a new release from them, but one that I've been after for a little while. Nova Media packaging always pretty on point. Plenty of bubble wrap. Happy days. So hidden in the middle of all this bubble wrap is, get this out. There we go. A very nice collector's edition of the Gangster, the Cop and the Devil. It's actually a media log version, but I got it through Nova Media. Really cool. So again, I'll do a proper unboxing of this. It's not a steelbook, it's just a kind of scannable case with a Conti book inside. But a great, fantastic movie, a really, really nice release of it. So again, if anyone wants to see an unboxing of that, I will do so. And last but by absolutely no means least, there's another package from my good friends across at Spectrum Films. And these are the releases from theirs that I was most excited to get my hands on. Two double releases, so there's 2 movies on each of these sets, of some of the most kind of obscure to find on DVD or Blu-ray releases from Shaw Brothers, but 4 exceptional movies. So in this one we have Holy Flame of the Martial World, absolutely classic bonkers movie, along with Demon of the Loot, which is incredible, has fast become my wife's favourite Shaw Brothers movie. Truly insane, but great fun. And this one has Bastard Swordsman and Return of the Bastard Swordsman. Amazing, both of these really tremendous kind of wuxia movies. And so these ones, no English subs on, but that's fine, we'll go through these in Cantonese. All 4 movies that I've seen many times, so I'll do a proper unboxing of these very soon as well. And that is it, folks. That is the last of my arrivals so far for October. Whether or not there will be anything else showing up, I'm not too sure, but that is my little haul so far. Let me know what you've all been getting, if you've been waiting for anything to arrive, and let me know if you want to see any of these unboxed or more information about. Some of them I'll definitely be doing, Yokai Monsters. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.